What's up, Dice Crew? Now, y'all see the title, I'm gonna just dive right into it. Now, first, I'm gonna give y'all a little backstory to what's going on, right? Damion Porter, shout out to him. He made a video about an A-Trade gangster. And during that video, he pretty much made some statements about this guy being a rat and not being good and whatnot. Young and Jefe made a video in correcting, Damion Porter video. And what made me feel okay to make this video was Damion Porter actually apologized for making these false claims about this individual. So the fact that he apologized, that confirms that he spoke incorrect about this individual. Now, also, it kind of drove me to be very passionate about this topic because I see a lot of dudes run their internet channel, their YouTube channel, or their platform or whatever, hand to hand a lot with the streets. You know what I'm saying? And when I mean the streets, I mean, prison, jail, whatever. Anything consistent with gang stuff, right? You run your channel hand to hand. So that means if you're going to get on this internet and you're going to be a person who, uh, do a lot of exposing the culture, you know what I'm saying? Stories or whatever the case may be, broadcasting the culture, spotlight street business on the internet, you know what I'm saying? If you're gonna be doing that, I feel like you need to really be held to a whole better standard, That mean the approach that gotta be taken with you gotta be like more street. And I feel like on the street tip, Damion Porter was definitely wrong and foul for that. Now, I don't want to go off on him like, so aggressively or call him out his name or offend him because obviously he apologized. And, I don't think it seemed like he could have just made an honest mistake, right? But still, it's not really just that easy. And I got to use this situation to school the youth, you know what I'm saying? For those that's a part of this streets, watching, learning from people. What Damion Porter did was totally a violation. In some circles, he could get himself hurt. You know what I mean? What he did, putting those false claims on somebody. Now, when those content space, it might be kind of okay for him to be able to like just apologize, and it might be accepted and be okay, and people can move along. You know what I'm saying? But in reality of these situations, when you throw these type of jackets, it's a lot of things. You don't throw no label or no title on nobody unless you know it as a fact, And it's a lot of homework and research and a lot of things you might have to experience to know these facts or whatever, or witness to know things to be the truth. But without really knowing things to be a fact, homie, you don't go off of what you just believe or what you just think. That's not cool. That's just not cool. That's not cool. I don't respect that. That's not honorable, Even if you believe in it, you think that that is okay for yourself, but you can't broadcast that. You can't just throw out titles and labels on people. That's not right. And again, my energy gonna be passionate about it, but don't get it confused. Like, I'm not trying to go off on no rant towards Damion Porter or nothing like this. This ain't no just me trying to, get at him or whatever the case may be. But I'm definitely attacking this topic, you know what I'm saying? And I'm highlighting his fault in this situation. And I'm giving knowledge about this, right? And it's like, even though Damion Porter chose to apologize, I give him some credit for apologizing, you know what I'm saying? Owning up to his wrongdoing, choice making, or whatever. I still don't agree with it because I always say, when you put some type of foul information on somebody, it's like the people that catch the correction, it's not going to be as many people watching that or catching that like who caught it the first time. It might be 20,000 people who caught the first video about this A-Trade dude. Might only be like 12,000 people who gonna catch it. You know what I'm saying? Just giving you a just on how it go. Like, damage already be done. Anytime it even, because you don't have people who look at things from a detailed situation. They just catch little things or whatever and then they run with it. So in like 5 years from now, it'll be a dude talking about, yeah, man, I remember they were talking about such and such and May Trey was snitching. That's how they'll roll it off their tongue and just put it out there like that. You feel me? Without it actually being like, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't even no real allegations or accusations or none of that about this dude being a snitch. It was just a one dude made a mistake on the video on the internet speaking on this dude and attaching this rat stuff to him. And that's how it go. You feel me? But I'm kind of surprised because Damion Porter carry himself like, a stand-up individual. Not to say that I just, acting like I know an individual, but I'm kind of surprised for him to be also one of the older guys on the internet. And he run his channel hand in hand with like the street get down. I figured he would keep his mind frame more on the real guidelines of the streets. And the lifestyle, homie, it's never okay to put no snitch jacket on somebody. And life itself is not even respectable. It's not okay, and that's not cool. You know what I'm saying? And I hope people can learn from this. And people gotta know, man, like I always say, like, this is why I be saying, like, at times that is it really that worth it for all this telling all the street business? See, some people will say if you succeed in something, then you obviously doing something right, right? So if a person getting on here and people telling street business all day or every other day, and they get numbers, getting revenue, getting good feedback, then they'll probably view that as they're not doing something wrong, right? But I when you keep if you keeping up with this YouTube universe when it comes to Los Angeles, you see every often it been a few or a handful of situations where people be getting into it over certain stories being put out there. You know what I'm saying? You got to be mindful. Like, you can tell a story factual and put it out there, and people still might feel offended. Just like, why would you even put that out there? Are you launching an attack? Were you trying to run a smut campaign? Why are you putting that out there on the internet today at this moment? People can run if ask those questions and wonder. So imagine how it's gonna be if you out here putting out information about people and it's not even true. The gang culture is really a sensitive topic. The whole street culture, the whole street, the gangster life, all that stuff, man, the whole just underworld, it's a sensitive topic, and it's very, 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 people livelihoods is at stake. Those statements that Damion Porter made about that individual can have something done to him. When you deemed a rat out here in these streets, no matter how you might view it, like, yeah, it's a lot of rats that get away with things, but the moment you get deemed a rat, it kind of becomes like a gloves off situation for people to do whatever they want to do to you. Not saying that people don't do that to people who's not rats, but the moment that you saying a person a rat or whatever the case may be, a person might start spreading that too. A person might feel like, hey, I owe that dude some money right now, but I'm gonna keep it since I just found out he a rat. Let's go rob dude or break in his house now since he a rat. Can't nobody really defend that. Even though you got people who do defend rats, but by the book and the code, politically, a person won't be right for trying to defend no rat. You know what I mean? Nigga be done fucked your baby mama and all this shit just because you a rat now. Not saying that they won't do that if you not a rat, but I'm just saying like that'd be something that people can forcefully be like just openly just pushing the line about all these things, because it's like, who cares? He a rat. Breaking your car, steal your car, all these things. You feel me? A person can, cause severe harm to this dude for being deemed a rat. So I'm kind of surprised with Damion Porter also talking so many jail stories, being from incarceration. I would assume that he definitely know that, you don't need to be throwing labels on people without facts. Damion Porter said that for the most part he put all his stories out there from personal knowledge, like personally witnessing. So I gathered from that in this video he must have took somebody else's information, which is crazy because it's like, how important is it to keep up with street stories and be able to speak on a story even if you don't know it to be factual? How important is it? You know what I'm saying? And I keep saying this, but I gotta keep saying it. It's okay not to know everything about the streets. And I say that in the form to like creating the narrative to be able to fit everything that's going on in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like if you can know it all that happened, fine. That's a good thing. You knowledgeable. You know what I mean? That's good. Knowledge is power. But if you don't, it's not that important for you to try to like, you know what I mean, create narratives or put yourself in things or just attach yourself to situations or stories just so you can feel like you know everything, you know a lot about everything that's going on in the gang world. It's okay, man. Nobody's gonna be a master and know it all about the gang world, man. You can't be at all places at once. You ain't gonna be at every. It's just gonna be impossible, man. You can be heard a lot of information, but even if you get told a lot of information about things that happen, that's hard to say it's a fact because you just wasn't there. Obviously, you got certain people out here that we do know, like if they say it, you know, their word is pretty much golden. We know that. But even that still can only go to the level of that self knowledge, and you could believe that for yourself because you know this person don't lie or play games like that. But it's still not enough proof that you can throw out there and just broadcast something about a person. You know what I'm saying? You got to have some type of proof to where you can back these statements up. And to me, my heart do feel like, you know, I go out, my heart go out to that dude because I just know in these streets that's just one of the foulest things ever. A person throwing jackets on you. You really just like the damage is already done. I'm just being honest. And you know, that's just how I feel, man. And that's one reason why I be so anti these street stories and all that stuff. Because at one point you're gonna run into a road bump speaking on this street culture. I don't care who you are because every story with the gang culture got a winner and a loser. You get me? Every gang story, these street stories got like four parties. You got this gang and that gang, and then you got this individual and that individual who involved, or so on and so on, right? Which means it's a whole lot of people who gonna feel entitled to have an opinion about everything, right? And you speaking on something that got to do with a whole lot of people, right? So at that moment, you got to be precise to the liking for all these individuals. Other than that, it's gonna be a problem. And at least, no matter how you view it, the person who used these words, like, why are you speaking on my hood? Why are you speaking on my gang? Why are you speaking on my homies? Why are you speaking on such and such business? Those individuals are actually right at the end of the day. Because you know you can speak on anything that you might know for a fact or you was a part of or you went, but we used to have some level of like structure upon ourselves, like even if it wasn't just, you know, a certain type of rule, it was just like an unspoken rule. Not rule I could say is like you just don't be speaking on other people's business in these type of things. You know what I'm saying? Like it's never gonna be wise. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, if a person feel offended behind you speaking on their homies, they hood and they gang, whatever, they got the right to. And then anything that transpired from that, it's like what it came from. Just because you had to speak on somebody else's gang or somebody else's hood. Like, what are we talking about? Then you got people who can feel offended in all kind of different ways. So that's where I'm at with it. I done spoke on the video long enough. You know, like I said, homie, I really felt good to speak about this video because Young and Jefe and Damion Porter pretty much then came to a solution to a good enough to agree to where they understand that Damion Porter made a mistake and he apologized about it. So this ain't me putting no feel or nothing like that on that issue, you know. But this issue got to be highlighted, you know what I'm saying? Because people got to learn from this. Like these things, the streets ain't nothing to play with. It's nothing to slip up about. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing like honest mistakes. Like that's cool and all that, man. But it's just like nah. Because imagine if a person did that to you, your people, your family, your homie, people you roll with, anything. You know what I'm saying? You put people in jeopardy. You never know what can happen. So you know I'm gonna wrap it up, man. hopefully I was able to learn something, man, for real. Shout out to everybody that's keeping it a Benji, standing on their 10 toes, 2 feet, always got their back against the wall no matter what, always standing tall, not sitting down. You know how it go. Y'all keep it a Benji in life, man. Y'all let me know how y'all rocking. Hit me on the Instagram, however y'all feeling about whatever. Shoot me some topics. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, we gotta be right, man, when it comes to these sensitive topics out here. You know? And it's just like the law. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. And that's the same thing in this lifestyle, Ain't no ignorance is not an excuse like that. You will pay your price. Yeah, you could get an excuse, or people could give you a little pass, or you could get a consequence to where you can come, you can move forward from. But at the end of the day, homie, it's not an excuse, and that's not good. And I feel like this situation paint Damion Porter in like a light that's goofy. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was goofy. To have to apologize on the camera about you throwing a snitch jacket on somebody because you didn't know it to be factual, homie, that's ultimately goofy. Real talk. Give him his credits for correcting that and owning up to his mistake. But coming from this street culture, bro, that's like just ultimately goofy. It's like, what made you feel obligated to want to call a person a rat and all this and that in the first place? We on the internet, bro. Get on here and entertain. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Tell some stories. Do whatever. You know what I'm saying? Different type of stories. Whatever. This ain't me just saying that to Damion Porter. This is just overall. Like, come on, man. Like, because if we don't even hold ourselves accountable and we don't even, value these rules and guidelines we stand for, then how we gonna, be mad at the next person? How we gonna want the next person to stand for whatever we supposed to stand for? In all reality, talking about people who's outside of this culture. But I done said enough, man. Y'all make sure y'all get with me, man, on the Instagram. Subscribe to the channel, whatever the case may be. Shout out to the Dice crew. I'm going to catch y'all in the next video. I'm out.